this video, we're going to take a look at how to avoid making a wrongful arrest whilst working in the private security industry in the retail sector. So you might just be starting out in your career, or you might be looking at joining the retail sector. You might have just got your badge and think, I'll have a look at that, but I don't know too much. So this video is for the purpose of helping you out and helping develop you and your skills within the security industry and help you make judgment calls throughout your career. So S.C.O.N.E.S for me was ideal. I was a store detective for 10 years. I've worked in various stores. I've arrested hundreds of thousands of people. I've saved millions of pounds of products and merchandise and whatnot. And I've never once made a wrongful arrest because I just followed S.C.O.N.E.S. So what is S.C.O.N.E.S? If you don't know what S.C.O.N.E.S is, let's take a look. S.C.O.N.E.S is an acronym that's designed to help those working within the retail sector in the security industry. So selection is your first one, concealment, observation, non-payment, exit and stop. So let's take a look at the first one. We've got the selection. Now selection, so you might see somebody in the store who's carrying something. It might be an item that your store sells, and they're about to walk out with the item. Do you stop them? You know, you can't go up and accuse them of making an arrest because obviously you haven't seen a selection. They may have walked into the store with that item, and you'll be making a very big mistake if they have. So to make that judgment call, you haven't seen the selection, you can't make a wrongful arrest. You know, there are ways of dealing with things. You know, you could ask people for a receipt or whatnot, but you know, you can go down a rabbit hole and you can escalate into a situation that it doesn't need to be. So it's important to see the selection. Concealment. Now, concealment follows the selection. So once you've seen the selection, you'll be tracking them through the store, you'll be following them, and you want to make sure that you see that item concealed, because if they walk down an aisle and that item disappears, now you can't make the assumption and assume that person has just stolen that item. You know, thinking, oh, they might have put it in their jacket, they might have put it in their pocket, they might have put it in their bag. In fact, they might have just put it on the shelf and decided they didn't want to buy it. And they walk out, you stop them, and you've made them a wrongful arrest. Observation. Observation follows the concealment. So, observation. Let's take a look at observation. Somebody's in your store, you've seen them make the selection, you've seen them make the concealment. They've concealed the item, you've seen them put it in their jacket or their bag or whatever. Now, you're observing this person. Now, you have to make sure you do not lose eye contact with the person who you're tracking, because if that person decides to put it down, or maybe it's a bit hot in here, I might put the item down, I don't fancy taking the risk. They walk out, you stop them, they've put the item back, although they had the intention of stealing something but decided to not do it at the last minute, you stop them, you've made a wrongful arrest. So you have to make sure you're observing them at all times. You know, don't lose sight of them. It is a difficult thing to do, but as a store detective, it's a great skill to learn. It does take a bit of time, but something I really enjoy doing. Now, the next one we look at is non-payment. Now, non-payment follows the observation, because obviously you want to be observing this person throughout the store, from their entry to when they leave. So now, when they leave, we want to make sure they pay for the item. So N is for non-payment. So they might be walking around the store. Once they've passed the tills, is that theft? No, it's not. They're still inside the store. Okay. So all we have to do is make sure that they once they've walked past all points of payment, you know, they've made no attempt to pay. They've walked past every single till, and then that moves us on to our next step, which is E for exit. Now, once you've made the exit, then they've committed the offence, okay? So you might see some security guards or store detectives, sometimes they'll stop people inside the store just before they go out the door to have a word with them and say, look, give us the items back and jog on. You know, there might be the procedure of the store that you're working in. They might not want the hassle, all the paperwork and making the arrests. And plus these days, I don't think the police even come out for arrests with items that are worth less than £200. So sometimes it's the best thing to do. But anyway, so let's say you do make the arrest. They've exited the store. You now have your right to stop the person, which brings us to our next letter, S, for stop. So once they've once you've stopped the person, you want to introduce yourself to the person, and explain to them who you are, whether you're the security guard of the store, you know, the plainclothes store detective. Obviously you want to have identification on you to identify yourself, and then explain to them what you've seen and tell them what you've seen. And yes, when you make your arrest, you place them under arrest, and you ask them to accompany you back into the store. Now, that's the procedure I followed. Like I said, I've made thousands and thousands of arrests, never once made a wrongful arrest. I live by S.C.O.N.E.S throughout my career, so it's always something to remember. So selection, concealment, observation, non-payment, exit and stop. If you follow that acronym, you can't go wrong. There's been lots of wrongful arrests I've seen over the past few years. Some of them got really messy. Some where I've been working in stores and other people I've been working with have made a wrongful arrest, or just been shopping down the high street and I've seen something absolutely crazy. But this acronym will help you to avoid making a wrongful arrest. Second thing I want to look at as well is staff members coming to you and saying, oh, I've just seen that person steal something. They've just concealed some items in their bag. They're walking out the door now. What do? Do you stop that person? Do you say, excuse me, sir, madam, you know, I believe you have some items on you that you haven't paid for? Because now you're in the firing line. You know, if things go wrong, if that person has made a mistake who's just told you that they've put items in their bag, you know, whether it's a staff member or a general manager, you need to say to that person, okay, I haven't seen that with my own eyes, so you'll need to make the stop. I will accompany you, I will deal with the process, but I need you to tell this person what you've seen and the reason of why we're stopping them, so they know it's not me stopping them, and you know, it's not anything that I've witnessed. It's the best way of dealing with things, because if that person's not sure themselves, then they might go, oh, maybe not. So the last thing you want to do is stop somebody leaving the store and accuse them of stealing, and they actually haven't. And then, like I said, you're in the firing line. In the security industry, you'll find very quickly that normally the security are the sacrificial lamb. So if anything like that does happen, they can accompany you, they can explain what they've seen, and make the stop, and then you can deal with the situation from there. I hope this video helps you within your career within the retail sector. As I said, S.C.O.N.E.S really helped me throughout mine. And if you like the video, please press the like button and the subscribe button. We have more videos coming after this one, so please stay tuned. Thank you very much for your time.